All right, what's up, everybody? This is Jason, one half of the Moneyball team, and I got a special guest here today, JJ Alquist. JJ, thanks for coming on.
Glad to be on.
Yeah.
I consider it an honor.
Well, we got an exciting episode today, something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is 80s and 90s wrestling. So,
I love it.
Yeah. Now, you collect a lot of wrestling stuff.
I do.
Right?
I do.
So tell me about some of the things you collect. We got a couple items here.
All right. So the main period for myself is I would go 85 to 95 for the WWF. Again, WWF, not WWE.
Right.
In my world. I have the action figures here, the Hasbro figures. I have the pay-per-view events we all loved and paid a lot of money to watch. I do have some cereal boxes, some wrestling related. Many video games related, shirts related. Again, a lot of merchandise with the old WWF.
And 80s and 90s, that was a big part of your childhood, right?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
So who do you got here? Who's the wrestlers you got here? And these figures look like they're mint.
For me, it's got to be mint or we don't do it. B, we tried to grab some of the more obscure gentlemen. Everybody's going to know Macho Man and Andre the Giant, but...
Hulk Hogan.
You might even remember Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Oh, for sure.
But do you remember the Dragon?
The Dragon.
Yes.
Tell us about
the wardrobe alone. I mean, you tell me. Was it necessary?
Is it necessary for me to drink my own urine?
Maybe. Maybe not. But the Dragon is involved.
Here, let me get a little closer up on the... So you can see the
condition
the Dragon outfit. And that is... I mean, what year is this from?
That is 92.
92, and this is gorgeous. Was this an eBay?
That was a Toys R Us specialty.
This is
Toys R Us specialty. Why I didn't grab more? We'll always wonder.
And the
Could
price,
be a millionaire.
The original price tag is on this.
On many of my items, yes.
Which I think makes it even that much cooler. And they were 3 for $10.
Like I said.
Now, do you want to share how much you paid for this, or you want?
That one there was around. We'll call it $120.
$120. All right.
Yeah. The cases alone that we put these in, again, very OCD specific. Those are sometimes $40, $50 a piece.
They're
which
nice.
You don't want to spend, but you want to protect your investment. So.
And that is awesome.
We also have Kamala here, Pretty Boy, who's also known as. With the Kamala Crush. All right.
Now I know that one is extremely rare. Right?
This is one of the rarest ones you're going to find. Again, it is mint, and again, we're not going to disclose what we paid for it, but you can look it up on your own. The main thought when it comes to these is, where were we when Toys R Us was closing? Because we'd be millionaires.
Yeah.
We really would be.
Yeah. Or yeah, I just bought the wrong stuff. Unfortunately, I bought the starting lineup figures.
We have a chest over there full of those. They're not on display for reasons.
And unfortunately, those aren't worth that much.
No, they're not.
But these are so collectible, and I mean, in this condition, it's just awesome. You never see them like that.
Sometimes, in my own opinion, I'm not really sure why they're worth so much, but these WWF figures are a nice collection.
I mean, it's one of those things that takes you back to our childhood, and that's why it's worth so much to us. It makes you feel... It takes you back to a time when, there was no worries in the world. There was just... You just watched wrestling, you enjoyed it, you enjoyed your guys, and it was just amazing. It was so cool.
That's why some of these WWF items become invaluable. Due to that fact, it's more nostalgia, memory, childhood, happiness, as opposed to dollar bills.
Right.
And... who doesn't remember bothering your parents for the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they came to your town. Maybe.
I remember it was a big thing that I was able to get my dad to always get the Royal Rumbles.
Okay.
Royal Rumbles was my favorite. I know WrestleManias were the biggest thing, but Royal Rumbles I just loved.
I might not argue at all on that fact. Why do you like the Royal Rumble the best?
I mean, you just get to see 30 guys.
Yes. Yeah.
You're basically seeing everybody in the roster on one pay-per-view.
Yes.
And a lot of times there was a goofy, a couple entries that shouldn't be there.
Absolutely, you got it.
Whether it's like Drew Carey or
Samba Simba.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Royal Rumble memory. Samba Simba.
Now we're talking about obscure wrestlers, and I know you love.
You said Drew Carey.
Yeah.
He might have made it.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
He might. I did not know that.
He's in the WWF Hall of Fame.
Fair enough. So,
yeah.
Congratulations, Drew.
Who's the guy? Andy Kaufman's going in it this year.
Legend.
Yeah. Him and Jerry Lawler used to go at it.
The King.
Yeah. But obscure wrestlers, I know that's one of your favorite things.
It is.
You never really geared towards the Hogans and
we all know those gentlemen.
Right.
We love them, but we know them.
So maybe give me a few of your favorite obscure wrestlers.
All right. And like Jason said, that is absolutely my favorite part, is these obscure gentlemen. So, I mean, a couple that come right to mind. Now, again, no, these are not the best wrestlers. These are some of my favorites. There was Skinner. Now, I don't know if you recall Skinner, but he would literally spit tobacco in your face when he came in the ring.
Oh, my God.
I remember, if you want to go back and check it out.
And these are all Vince McMahon creations.
Yes.
Right. I mean,
genius.
Because now that I don't really remember Skinner, but that made me instantly think of the guy that used to throw up in the ring every single time. Was it Draz?
I think it was. I think you are correct.
He got paralyzed, right?
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
But his gimmick initially was to go in the ring and throw up on, I believe, on the wrestler, if I remember correctly.
I'd like to have a conversation with Vince. who had the most input in these acts? But
all right, you're going to go down to the ring and you're going to throw up on the guy. And I don't give a damn what happens.
Enjoy it,
right?
When you do it.
I mean, like, I can't imagine being in some of those meetings with
the behind
Vince.
the scenes had to be, again, priceless to be at that period of time. What was allowed in society?
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was probably very unpolitically correct. We'll say behind the curtains.
Like, what do you think is one of the most? We'll go ahead and tell me a couple more of your favorite obscure guys.
All right, some of the guys. I do have one of his the figure. I don't know if you recall it. Nails.
Oh wait, we got it. We got it right over here.
All right.
We got.
Nails was one of my favorites. He had the jailhouse match with Big Boss Man.
Oh, that
Loser
is
had
funny.
to spend a night.
Loser had to
Think
spend
of
the
that
night
story.
in
behind
jail,
it.
was it?
Correct.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
supposedly on the run. However, nobody noticed him at WWF. I mean, Vince. We love it. We love it.
Vince didn't care. He didn't.
I'm coming up with it, and this is how we're rolling. All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'll go two more. Two I think of. One of my favorites was Hakeem, the African Dream.
Who was not African by any means.
No, he was not.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
even close. But as a child, I seemed to overlook that factor, and I enjoyed his moves with the Slickster.
Well, the Slick Rick, man. Slick Rick.
I mean,
Slick Rick made you believe he was straight from Africa.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing.
so he's another favorite. Maybe the Red Rooster.
The Red Rooster.
Again.
Terry. What?
Terry. Oh wow! I
Yeah.
almost Terry Lawler.
Was it Terry?
It might be Terry Lawler, but it doesn't matter because he'll always be Red Rooster.
Red Rooster. Yes, with the mohawk and.
And I try to think of when I say some of my obscure guys, they're the guys that have a WrestleMania match that you don't remember. Because obviously at that level, that's you made it. You have a WrestleMania match, and there's some forgotten ones that you would never remember. And Red Rooster fought Bobby the Brain Heenan
Oh, in WrestleMania.
in a WrestleMania match. I think it
Oh
might have
my
been
God.
6, but you're representing that one today as well.
WrestleMania 6. We got it right here. Yeah. I'm thinking off the top of my head like Bastion Booger.
I didn't say him, but I was thinking him just moments ago. That's why we work well together here.
He was a mess. Remember he'd
eat
come
the
down.
pudding.
Yeah.
He'd eat the pudding.
It was all over his face.
Again, I loved him. I'm older now. I'm not sure why I loved him.
Right. He was out there, and I want to say that they had him. They almost had it like he almost crapped himself a little bit at matches, I believe.
That might have been true.
Yeah.
That might have been true. It wasn't pretty.
No.
We'll call it that.
Now, there was some obscure people. Now, you know who doesn't get enough appreciation is the jobbers.
The
Like
jobbers.
Barry Horowitz.
Barry Horowitz.
You know,
Wow, wonderful gentleman.
Oh,
Wonderful. Brooklyn Brawler.
Brooklyn Brawler is the best one ever, probably, right? I mean,
just to even think of that term, the jobber. Couldn't have got paid enough.
No, by no means. But those guys were essential to the cards. I mean, and they were good at what they did.
Absolutely. They delivered that effect as how powerful and, whatever you want to call it, these figures were by beating down on the jobbers.
Right. And Brooklyn Brawler, I believe he's in the Hall of Fame.
I can't confirm or deny, but I would recommend him.
Yeah,
I would.
I mean, he definitely deserves
the jobber of all time.
Definitely deserves it. And right now, I know the camera can't see it, but we're actually watching the match between Rowdy Piper and Bad News Brown.
This is from WrestleMania 6 as well.
And this is one of the most controversial matches ever.
Again, with the politically correct I mentioned earlier.
This would never happen today.
I don't think they would allow a white man to paint himself half black.
He painted himself, and what was the story? Do you remember why he did that?
I think it was more just to upset Bad News. Everybody knew Bad News Brown had the short temper, had a bad attitude.
I've been a survivor on the streets of Harlem all my life.
But I think it was just to get under his skin, because that's how Rowdy was, you know what I mean?
So he was pretending he was half black?
Just to upset him, yes.
And Roddy Piper's one of the all-time greatest heels and
legend.
Legend. Just an absolute legend. Ever since the coconut shot with Snuka. Now, there's different kinds of wrestlers. There's the lucha libres, the high flying guys, the powerful guys. Now, I know your whole life have been big into working out and lifting weights. Did you follow the big guys?
Put it this way, it's not as obvious today, but I was into bodybuilding, like Jay said, many years ago. So I usually followed the heavy lifters, the big boys.
Did you have tassels around your arms like the Ultimate Warrior?
I wanted to, but I didn't do it. I did. Maybe sometimes when I came home from the gym, if I was feeling good, we might have tasseled up.
Yeah.
A lot of respect for the high flyers, maybe even more respect when it came to wrestling, because they were wrestling as opposed to some of the bigger gentlemen were a little, not as stationary.
Well, they had maybe five moves. Like Goldberg.
Yeah, Goldberg. Again, some of the guys I would recommend for the size alone. Again,
give me a couple of your favorite guys.
I love the Warlord.
The Warlord.
Probably my favorite, and in my opinion, the biggest man to do it.
He was
a horrible wrestler, though. He was a horrible
Hercules.
That's why we work well together.
Hercules.
That was my second favorite size
right.
gentleman. The fact of he changed his name 3 times. He was 4 different characters.
Who are a couple of them?
I liked when he did Power and Glory with Paul Roma.
Oh my God.
Power and Glory. He had the little mustache. Went from Hercules Hernandez to Hercules.
Okay, yeah.
Big change.
That was a big change.
I want to say there was a 4th. It was Hercules Hernandez.
Oh
Hercules, Power and Glory.
Well, I guess we'll leave that for the viewers. If you know the 4th, put it in the comments. Mm-hmm. We might even do something special for you if for the first person that says it.
Or if I'm wrong, correct me. And maybe there was only 3.
Right.
Who is another big
How about a more current guy? The Master, Chris Masters, the Master Lock.
Now I'm gonna tell you the truth.
We're getting out of 80s and 90s a little bit, but
very random that was mentioned because again, Jay knows I don't know as many once we get out of that era, but he was brought to my attention just weeks ago actually by somebody else who I mentioned. I like the big guys. They threw him out there.
Yeah.
I said I've never actually heard of him
because
I know
he was
him
just
now.
jacked. There you go. That'll give you some more like 2000s.
Yeah.
Stuff
The only guy I enjoyed later in that maybe segment was I like that guy. Test was his name.
Test.
I think he was named after testosterone.
Yeah.
So again, we'll leave that.
I met Test at the Steer in Buffalo.
Wow.
One night after a wrestling event.
Wow.
And he.
How did you like him in person?
Big dude.
Okay.
Big dude. He definitely wanted ecstasy from somebody.
Okay.
I didn't have any.
Okay.
But so I wasn't much.
Were you friends then? No.
I wasn't much of a use to him.
Test wanted X. Okay.
So yeah, that was basically my experience of Test.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, and I believe Stacy Keibler was his manager at the time.
Wow, I do know that name.
Yeah.
I do.
Because she was
Nice to look at.
She was nice to look at.
Yep, I
to
do
say
know the name.
to say the least.
Better than the Keebler Elves, right?
Yeah. Although the Keebler Elves are extremely underrated.
They make a good product as well.
So I got another wrestler over here of yours, another figure, and this one's awesome.
Yeah, obscurity at its best, folks.
This I want to say might be the worst costume ever for a wrestler.
He could be the worst wrestler for a wrestler also.
You're actually...
people did not enjoy wrestling him. Let's do it.
All right. There you go.
Giant.
The Giant. And I'm not talking Andre the Giant.
No.
I'm talking Giant Gonzalez.
The B Giant.
Look at... Here, we'll look at that. We'll put that a little closer to this camera. Look at that.
You might say, I don't remember him.
Oh, man.
But you might remember the Undertaker WrestleMania match. That was probably his most famous match versus Undertaker WrestleMania 9 out in Vegas outside.
And
he was terrible.
It's so funny you bring up that match because there's a guy on TikTok I follow, and he puts together these interviews and makes a great story out of them. And one of the stories is the Undertaker wrestling Giant Gonzalez.
Okay.
And he goes on to say, and the Undertaker really doesn't talk bad about a lot of people. Like, he's really well spoken, just really good guy, well respected by everybody in the company. But he just goes on to say how awful it was to wrestle him. And he had to basically coach him through the whole match and take over every move. His move, Giant's move, like
I'll do your moves for you
to make it a respectable
watchable
match, because Undertaker didn't want one of his matches to be awful.
Understood.
So he took over the whole thing, and he just said it was so hard working with that guy.
I never saw that interview, but again, I had heard that
it's classic.
that was his main claim to fame, is how bad he was actually.
Yeah.
And like Jay mentioned, the suit alone, I mean, just makes you wonder, what did he look like under it?
Well, he had and I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see it. I mean, it was a muscle costume with like fur patches, right? I mean,
yes, fur patches. I'm a man, but not.
Yeah.
I'm a man, but I'm not a machine, an animal.
I believe, and here, let me look at
half man, half ape.
See, I believe this costume's a little different than the one I remember, because I want to say like he didn't even have anything covering up his
legs. Well,
his private area, and as a kid, I remember wondering...
Oh, you're correct. It was one giant suit.
And I remember wondering, I'm like, well, why are they showing all his muscles and everything, but he has no... Like, does he not have a wiener?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
that I wanted to see it. I was more curious if he...
Again, he's half animal. Right. So that could be that whole effect.
Okay. He was neutered.
Yes,
neutered.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which also could make why he was so terrible.
Yeah.
There's a lot to think about when it comes to Giant Gonzalez.
There is a lot. Now, what else did you want to touch on? I know, again, you said you're a big collector. What other...
So when it comes to the wrestling, the starter kit, in my opinion, like, you're not even a wrestling collector if you don't have all the pay-per-views.
Okay.
Because if you have items to play with and look at, you got to see the real item. And so we have them all the WrestleManias, 1 through 10. Again, my period is 85 to 95.
Okay.
Before 85, after 95, I know it. I didn't live it. So all of those.
Survivor Series? Survivor Series. I love the Survivor Series.
Yes. And when it goes to Survivor Series, like Jay had mentioned earlier with the Royal Rumble, you love it because you see everybody. And if you recall the very first one, they even did the tag teams as groups. So there were, I want to say, 16 men on the ring at one point. That was a memory I had as a child, with all the different tag teams.
I kind of do remember that,
as a Survivor Series match.
But it was great because sometimes you would have a tag team with, like Hogan.
Yes.
And like Brutus.
Yes.
Right? Like, and you just had these cool combinations.
The names were also excellent. I actually have I'll pull it out actually to get a few names for us. Here, let's see. So again, just a mention of a few of the names alone from these Survivor Series teams. If we want to go 1993, we had the All-Americans versus the Foreign Fanatics.
All right, so Hogan had to be on All-Americans, right?
You would think so, but I'm pretty sure at this time he might have been making movies.
Okay, I'm going to go Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
No.
Come on.
Yeah, this is
Wow.
yeah.
The All-Americans. I don't remember. I would have. It's throwing me off.
It's not like you would expect some of these, but the first one maybe Lex Luger.
Lex Luger. Okay. All right.
Scott and Rick Steiner.
Wow. Yeah.
Before Papa Pump.
Right. When they were Michigan. You know?
Yes, Michigan. So again, they were kind of all Americans in college. And
Steiner.
Then the
You had to love Steiner.
Oh yeah.
Because
Pump.
He was
one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
A little bit later, like I said, I wasn't living it at that period. I did love him though. He was part of the All-Americans with the Undertaker as the fourth member.
Wow.
Why is he American? We don't know, but he's on the team.
Yeah, the Dead Man.
But on the Foreign Fanatics makes a little more sense.
The Mounties?
Quebecer, Jack.
Okay.
Jack. It's one of the Quebecers.
So I'm technically right?
They were the Mounties, and then they changed it to Quebecers.
Where are the Mounties?
But they were exactly the same.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You win. Ludwig Borga.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Nikolai Volkov?
No, Crush.
Crush. From
not
Hawaii.
sure where-
From Hawaii.
He was from Hawaii. We're going to call it foreign.
His thing was he was from Hawaii.
Yes,
He was crushing the.
Again.
Oh my God.
Vince came up with a plan. Nobody asked questions.
He was a foreigner. Okay.
I mean, that's enough right there if you want to talk foreigners. But
Who are the
Yokozuna
other
on it.
ones though? I got to know the foreigners now.
Yokozuna. So it was Yokozuna, who is foreign. Ludwig Borga. I'm not sure where he's from, but it's not America.
I mean, technically, Yokozuna is what? Hawaiian.
He
in
is.
real life.
He was Hawaiian, played as Japan.
Yeah.
But yes. And then the Quebecer, and then Crush was
that's funny.
the one that makes no sense.
Right.
But again, that was the point, was some of these titles for these Survivor Series teams alone. Again, got off topic. The point was you got to have the pay-per-views. And we're talking SummerSlams included.
Now, I think the only thing that would make you a bigger fan, because it looks like you own them all, is if they were all on VHS.
Correct.
Because there was nothing for me better than going to the movie,
Video Factory?
Yeah, Video Factory, Family Dollar, whatever you guys got where you're at, and picking out one of the pay-per-views.
What a night that was.
Oh.
If you were picking up Pizza Hut,
oh my God,
a WrestleMania VHS pay-per-view,
yeah.
Did you need anything else? Not really.
I remember.
You really didn't.
I would go to Tops because they had $5.99 large pizzas. So my dad, we would
$5.99.
We would go to Tops, get the large pizza for $5.99. We would go get a 2-liter bottle of Tops Cola. And if you remember,
cola.
they have 3 colas on
Triple,
there.
yeah.
Right. It wasn't just Tops Cola.
Yeah.
Tops
Triple.
Cola.
You wanted to make sure you knew what you were getting.
Right, definitely. And then rent a wrestling pay-per-view, and it was, dude. I mean, that's one of the main things I remember of doing with my dad.
Yeah, that Video Factory corner with the VHS WW, just the colors that come at you.
Oh.
Yeah, you can't touch it. I got a slice the other day for $3, so
yeah,
definitely missed that $5.99 large pizza.
I miss that too. Yeah. Now you got a couple wrestling shirts.
I do have a few shirts. My wife doesn't love them, but let me show you guys.
All right,
you might like them.
Let's see them. Let's see them.
So again, we tried to go with. The first one is my favorite wrestler of all time. Now, then, anytime. Rick Rude, the Ravishing.
Look at that.
That is my all-time favorite wrestler.
That is awesome.
When you're wearing other wrestlers' wives on your tights, you won. This one here is one I tried to wear out in public with my wife. She didn't love it, but Doink.
Oh my God.
Look at the colors.
That is so awesome.
There was Doink, there was Dink.
That's actually a great looking shirt.
Dude, it's very minty.
I hate clowns, but that is a great looking shirt. That is awesome.
You might have ordered that out of the wrestling magazine that would come out every month, which I have many of those around here as well. One as well. The old WWF magazine that would come out I think it was month or weekly. Monthly, right?
Yeah, I would have to say it was monthly.
That was a lot of arguments between me and my mother. At the grocery line with those. Some of the programs you would get at the pay-per-view events, those are nice as well. But I like not only watching but reading some of the old material as well.
Oh, it's just some classic stuff in there.
If you're into Sports Illustrated, they did make the cover of Sports Illustrated once. They're not usually included when it comes to sports like that, but they did have the one if you want to show the public here, we have the one with Hogan on it.
And this is the only Sports Illustrated with...
Cover of WWF related.
Wow, look at that. How cool is that, right?
That's an old 80s one right there. But
That is awesome.
you know, you couldn't touch Hulk Hogan at that
I gotta
point.
get this in a nice sleeve for you.
True story.
What do you got, a cereal box down there?
I do. Like I said, we who doesn't love a good cereal box?
Look at this guy. Is that Wheaties?
Nope. This is actually Superstars. WWF Superstars. You might have just called it Captain Crunch.
Okay.
It was the same, but yeah, this one had Warrior. There were a couple few different covers. You could either get Warrior, Legion of Doom. I can't recall, but there might have been one other. But these were a tough find.
All right, so I got a little surprise for you.
Oh.
You haven't seen this yet, so
Love surprises.
you got your cereal, okay? Well, I have
Oh, surprises out of the box.
1988